Well, I've been watching a lot of your videos on the internet, and I'm trying to keep my son from making another big mistake. He insulated his cathedral ceiling with rock wool and the whole 9 yards. Well, we're over here in Pennsylvania, and we got to that minus 17 probably 3 weeks ago, and it was like a rainforest. Trying to talk him into doing the spray foam. I've been watching all your stuff, and just do it right the second time. I try to have him do it that way the first time.
Well, hello everybody, it's Mike with Spray Jones coming to you with another video on spray foam insulation. The audio clip that you just heard of that man talking about having issues is an all too common experience that I'm getting now. I'm getting emails, I'm getting phone calls from the YouTube channel where people are doing their construction project, new or retrofit, and encountering issues. And we hear this all the time. I've insulated, but now I'm having all sorts of moisture problems. And I want to dispel what's going on and shed some light on things and give you hope and understanding for where we're going in construction, and particularly in spray foam as an industry. If you're new to this channel, my name's Mike. I'm the owner of Spray Jones, and I produce content on spray foam insulation, closed cell, open cell for Canada and the US market. I've got a new platform that's coming out, folks. We'll be announcing it here very, very shortly. There's going to be a huge announcement, and I want as many of you to take note and migrate over to what we're doing, because we are dramatically going to increase the education game, the connection to getting your questions answered, and there are going to be an enormous amount of industry experts and voices that I'm going to be bringing on to get us educated. I'm going to be sharing my stage and my platform with a lot of people, so you're going to be very excited to see what is coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Did you know that in the IECC code in the United States that very few people within it or around it understand that insulation and air barrier are a separate piece of the puzzle when dealing with moisture issues? It's a little bit staggering to think that, but that's precisely what's going on. And you've got to control your thermals, but you've got to control air leakage. I've been saying this for a long, long time. And spray foam insulation, closed cell particularly, we're going to beat up on closed cell a little bit more, concentrate on it. Spray foam insulation is not just an insulation. And we are promoting and moving into what I think is the future of spray foam advocacy in roof situations is resilient construction. Now, this call was somebody who batted out a vaulted ceiling, put up the drywall, and then as soon as it got extremely cold, they had a lot of air leakage issues, they had a lot of moisture issues, and the attic was raining water back down into the house. Sheetrock all came down, drywall all came down, insulation was wrecked, had to pull it out, had to dry everything out, and it's like, okay, what went wrong? Well, it's primarily not, it is an air leakage issue. The air is getting through. But even with a good vapor barrier, vapor retarder, air barrier, in Canada we have this as code in the northern climates. We recognize that there has to be some sort of barrier internally to stopping the air from going through our insulation and making it to the cold zone and freezing, right? The issue is that when you put sheetrock up, you're punching holes through it, and the air leakage continues. You're slowing it down, but it's not stopping. And this is why spray foam, closed cell spray foam particularly, is so powerful, is that it can be applied to the roof deck. It makes the roof deck stronger. It can deal with the complex designs of intersectional vaults and flats and hips and roofs and valleys, you name it. It can deal with all of the complex designs of where you're going to get airflow through. It deals with wind uplift on the roof deck, more than just what you can get from a Simpson strong tie or a hurricane clip. We're dealing with massive amounts of stiffening to the roof sheathing, the trusses, and then down to the plates. And then here's a big thing that we're seeing now out of California and others is the wildfire issues, that when you are close to property lines, a lot of jurisdictions now in municipal areas are calling for fire protection with vented attics. And if the building's on fire to the left, is it going to set the building on fire to the right because the sparks and the embers and the heat went up through their vents and into the attic and caught the other attic on fire? This is going to become a major issue. This is going to become a major topic of discussion because closed cell spray foam shuts those vents off and prevents that hot air and those embers from coming up and in. And these are major incentives when building. And people are starting to learn that our value is such a small portion of the consideration of what they're having to choose with their roof assembly, wall assembly. That closed cell spray foam and open is a bonded insulation. It's bonded to the actual building. It's not laying in up against it. It's not passively just sitting there. It doesn't slide, doesn't settle. When it's installed correctly, it's in place. It's glue. It's holding the building together. And that we have the liquid application is critical because we have the ability to get into all the irregularities where insulation needs to go versus board stock or prefabricated goods. And then the structural support to the roof deck is a massive push because of the hurricanes and the winds and the plow winds and the tornadoes. Having structural support on your roof and resiliency where you can lower insurance rates, where you can lower fire issues. This is going to become a major talking point within Canada and especially in the US, state to state. And I'm predicting that we're going to see lower insurance premiums coming out in the next few years as our education grows. And we're going to see better insurance rates on fire and the overall building due to resiliency and risk management, like lowering the risks on longevity. So when you're dealing with closed cell foam, the fire and the dust ingress is mitigated. Your complex roofs don't need to figure out how to vent them. In fact, many of them can't be properly. And especially the big factor in the US is HVAC, putting HVAC equipment and ducting in the attic. This is a no-brainer to go with a sealed, non-vented, conditioned attic space to keep it cool in the summertime, warm in the wintertime, if that applies. And in Canada, the number one factor is attic rain. When we are dealing with minus 41 Fahrenheit, minus 36 Fahrenheit for a week on end, and then by the weekend, when it finally breaks, we're going up to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Fahrenheit for Canada. That's, +1, +2, +3, +4, on and on and on. It's too big of a snapback from cold where you had air leakage, you had frost building up, you had frost on the nails, you had a set amount of air leakage into the attic, frosting up the underside of the roof deck, frosting up the areas of open space between the insulation and the outside. And then to go warm so that the sun is beating down on the deck, but also the ambient air temperature has gone above freezing. Those areas of moisture which are frozen are now released like a time capsule, and the attic begins to rain the water back down into the insulation, causes a lot of issues, a lot of headaches, water coming out of the pot lights, water coming out of the electrical outlets, and just water in your insulation destroys your insulation very, very quickly. I'll tell you, on retrofit, I get a lot of calls with attic rain where they're like, hey, everything was fine and then it warmed up and now it's just raining water. What do we do about it? The factor to fix these is like 60 to 70 to 1. So whatever it costs to build that thing at the time of implementation of virgin construction, the factor to retrofit now is $60 for every $1 spent, and as high as 70. So I think the messaging that we have got to get out there, and I've got a lot more videos that are going to be coming out on shingle, life, uplift, fire, insurance. We're going to be hitting this hard in the next coming months with some expert advice, and we're going to be interviewing some engineers and talking to people that are going to explain in detail why the spray foam non-vented roof details are the way of the future. It's the first point of contact into upgrading people to spray foam. We're seeing a lot more people that want their vaulted ceilings, want their attic spaces foamed, want the advantages that I've just listed. And understand this, when you control air, when you control what air can touch for cold or for warmth, when you control air movement, you control condensation issues, both to the outside, to the inside, right? And the overall system, the HVAC systems can then run to their design criteria. And then you're not dealing with problematic problems that are constantly going to be inside the building envelope that you are trying to remove with antiquated and outdated methods. So think foam the first time, don't think spray foam the second time. I'd really love to hear what you people have to say. Lay out a comment, a like, a share, a subscribe. Keep your ears peeled for the new platform and the new name that we're going to be giving you guys. It's going to be really exciting. We want you to come on board with this because the information revolution has begun, and we are dramatically going to increase education and advocacy across North America. This is going to be the hub, the absolute central place to get the best top information the fastest. So I'll talk to you soon. See you there.